I just wanted to take a quick minute and welcome everyone this evening. Thank you so much for taking time out of your extremely busy schedules to join us this evening. My name is Kristen Groves, and I'm the principal here at Blacklick. And I'm very excited to share an update regarding our Blacklick Building Edition. It's been a really exciting project, and I'm so excited to share an update with you today. Before we get started, I just want to make sure that everyone is aware we are recording this session this evening. That way, if there's any family members or community members that weren't able to make it this evening, they'll be able to view this presentation at a later time. We will be posting this presentation to the district website. So we are also going to make a point this evening to make sure that we address the questions that were submitted prior to this evening. There were some community members, family members that submitted a question on the Google form that was sent out in the email that I sent out about a week ago. So we'll make sure that we answer those questions during our presentation this evening. But certainly, if you have a question that comes up during the presentation, please make sure that you type that question in the chat, and we'll do our very best to answer those questions this evening as well. So the purpose of coming together this evening is to introduce all of you to the district construction team, as well as introduce you to the architect and construction firms that we've been working with over the last several months. We certainly want to take some time and showcase the new floor plan that we've worked really hard to put together. We want to discuss the timeline for construction. And we also want to make sure, like I said, to answer any questions that you have or address any concerns that you have regarding our new project. So at this time, I would like to introduce Superintendent Barrett, who is going to highlight issue 22 and where we are with this project. So Mr. Barrett.
Thanks so much, Kristen, and thanks everyone for joining us tonight. I just want to start by giving thanks for the permission from all of you and our community to do phase 2. We're overcrowded in almost all of our elementaries and middle schools and high school, and it's so important that we do this work. And we've had a lot of deliberative dialogue around lots of different things, and the giving us permission means so much, because we're going to execute this project as diligently and as effectively and stay within the cost structure. And we're going to inform you along the way. And tonight is one of those first informational meetings that we're going to have, but we'll have many more as we look at the other projects, which are 3 additions to our middle school and then building a new Lincoln High School. And so the benefits of this project for our community is to address the overcrowding that's taking place, to provide learning spaces for our future growth, to eliminate the modulars that we had at several of our schools, and to increase the small group tutoring space, the cafeteria space, the related art space, and in some cases, the gymnasium space. So we'll go on to our next slide, and I'll just talk briefly about the team we have assembled to do this work. This project is very large, and so we had interest from many, many firms, and we had selection committees for architects, for builders, and an owner's rep recently. And so DLR is the architecture firm our selection committee chose. They're #1 in the country in the education space. They've done a lot of K-12 work, a lot of work at the university level, and we couldn't be more happy to have them lead this project. Locally, Shore Architects, which is out of Dublin, is helping with the project, and they've done projects in Worthington, Whitehall, Lancaster, and other districts locally. And Russilli Construction is a big firm here in Columbus. They're just finishing a large project at Upper Arlington. We got to go see that high school project, and our selection committee chose Russilli Construction. And so this is a formidable team. This is a team that's really going to help us not only execute the project on time and at budget, but I think we're going to have some really special spaces that we're going to build. And we're so excited to show you the design that we have thus far for both High Point and Blacklick. We can go to the next slide. And so working on this project is Jill Elliott, our assistant superintendent, Scott Lofton, our business director. Aaron Winter is in special project manager. He works closely with Scott Lofton. Sue Wigging is our director of special education. And Kristen, as you know, is the principal at Blacklick. Kathy Earhart has been a big part of this project at High Point. Paul Lawton is one of our architects. Bryce Aristad is also an architect working on this elementary project, and Jennifer Davey from DLR is a project manager and architect that runs a lot of our meetings. We've been meeting very frequently, and so she just kind of is the glue that keeps everyone together on all 6 projects. And also Claire Lonsberry from DLR is here with us tonight, and Frank Pinciotti is representing DLR Construction. And so now we'll talk about the design process.
Okay, so the design process for this project really started back in March, where I was able to meet with the district construction team as well as representatives from DLR. And we started looking at the big picture needs for Blacklick specifically. We looked at our current enrollment, we looked at projected enrollment, and we also looked at the needs for our special programming that we have here at the building. We currently have an EL program, English Language Learners. We have a gifted program here at Blacklick, and we also have a structured support program here at Blacklick. So looking at all of our special programming, we certainly involved Sue Wigging, who's our Director of Special Education, as well as other district departments, because we really had to think about the space that was needed, not only for our classrooms, but for our special programming. And I'll tell you that we worked through many, many drafts. There was lots of discussion, there was lots of collaboration, lots of conversation about what would be appropriate for Blacklick, because we really wanted to ensure that we had the spaces that were needed before landing on the floor plan that was included in the email that I sent to all of you last week. So within the floor plan that you received, the current floor plan includes, and this is where I get really excited, 10 new classroom spaces. So that will allow for 5 sections of every grade, kindergarten through 5th grade. It also allows for 5 spacious kindergarten classrooms. We currently have 2 kindergarten classrooms that are spacious, but we want to make sure that all 5 sections of kindergarten have spacious classrooms for our students. The floor plan also includes flexible small group spaces for supplemental support, increased storage for classroom supplies as well as custodial supplies, an expanded cafeteria. With increased enrollment, we need a larger cafeteria for all of our students. The floor plan included additional restrooms, a brand new gymnasium, additional art rooms, and an additional art room and music room that will be housed in our current gym space. There's a dedicated smart lab as well as a sensory room. And then the exterior plan also allows for increased parking. So at this point, I'm going to turn the presentation over to Bryce from DLR, who's going to share some more specifics about the floor plan.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bryce Arstead, and let me make sure I'm sharing a screen. Should be popping up soon here. So my name is Bryce Arstead. I'm an architect with DLR Group, and it has been a joy to be working with the leaders of this school in your community, and we're excited to show you what we've been working on and kind of walk you through the process. We're happy to answer any of the technical questions, and we're glad that we're joined by, again, the leaders of the school, along with our partners on the construction side to answer any and all questions you might have. So I want to start by giving you a quick overview of the entire school. We have the existing building is noted in the areas that don't have this diagonal hatch. So the old portions of the building, and then there's some renovation portions. The overall plan is to have two discrete additions, so two distinct additions, and then some minor renovations within the existing building. The colored floor plan here has a key. All of the light blue spaces are your core classroom spaces. The pink and kind of fuchsia colors are your special education spaces. The yellow space is the gymnasium. The tan space is the cafeteria. And then the purplish spaces are art and music. So as Kristen was saying, we've got a lot of thought put into this. Again, some of our concepts that we were driving with this floor plan were obviously to accommodate your increased capacity, provide some flexibility for both now and in the future, and really disperse or distribute the special education spaces. So you can see there's not like one space where all of the special education rooms are clustered together. We really wanted to disperse them throughout the building so that those students have closer access to the resources they need. Another thing that you'll notice is the numbers on the sides of the classroom here. These denote the grade levels that will be in those rooms. One of the opportunities we have with kind of redistributing classrooms throughout the school is to really focus on clustering those grade level classrooms together so that the students are within their cohort. So I want to start by zooming in here to the classroom addition. Here at Blacklick, we're adding 5 new kindergarten classrooms and 5 new first grade classrooms. They're connected down the corridor that's running kind of north-south. On this plan, it's east and west. So in reality, north is to the right of your page. But down this hallway, we connect into kind of an open kindergarten flex space where kindergarten students and teachers can gather for activities outside of their classroom. Continuing down the hallway, the first grade is at the end of the hallway, and we have doors that will exit out to play spaces beyond. Within the floor plan here, you can see the special education spaces. We have that structural support classroom, the smart lab, the general intervention, the EL, and the sensory OT-PT spaces, kind of all distributed throughout this corridor here. You'll see we have toilet blocks and a single-use toilet as well. Where you currently have 2 kindergarten classrooms, we're carving in some space in order to add a reading room, some mechanical space, a general intervention room, and then switching the rest of the rooms to a general classroom and an EL classroom. Continuing back down the corridor, one of the classrooms here becomes the GATE, the Gifted and Talented program. And then we're back to kind of the main entrance and the admin suite. Within this suite, we're adding an office for an assistant principal. We're kind of renovating some of the workspace and the faculty lounge in order to provide more office space, also an open work area. And then in the clinic, we're expanding the toilet so that there's an accessible toilet associated with the clinic. It's also the clinic space itself is expanding, again, to accommodate a larger student population. There's some light renovation pieces within the other remaining classrooms in the existing building, some finishes, and then in some places we are switching their function from a special education room into a general classroom. So just some light touches there in order to bring those pieces to alignment. Where you currently have an existing gymnasium, we will be reusing that space for some more special education spaces, a structural support space, another general intervention room, and then carving in the rest of the gymnasium will be a music space, another music classroom, and another art classroom. So that will bring the count of art rooms to 2 and the count of music rooms to 2. Over here by the cafeteria, we're also adding the faculty lounge, which we removed from the admin space and brought it over to this area in order to provide some more flexibility up at the front office. The cafeteria gymnasium expansion is an 8,000 square foot addition. We're adding toilets, both genders, and a gender neutral toilet. And then the flex cafeteria is accessed either through the corridor into the room or through some overhead garage doors that allow the cafeteria space to bleed into the new flexible cafeteria space. Again, this is to add capacity during those lunch periods. Another feature of this addition here, the Fayed edition, is to allow it to be much more useful during after hours events. So for community rec or after hour rental units, this portion of the building will be able to be locked down from the rest of the building so that you have your public functions happening here without disturbing anything going on in the school. So there's a bank of toilets to support that as well. And then you'll see some vestibules in order to get access into this part of the building to the parking lot that is over here to the right of the page, and then access out to the playground space that's to the top of the page here. So again, the main concepts were to increase the capacity of the school, to add some flexibility, and to distribute special education. We'll pass it on to the next presenter to talk about implementation here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Frank Pinciotti. I'm the project executive with Russilli Construction Company. And if we could keep the image up, that would be fantastic. I can reference different areas while I speak to the schedule. The construction is going to begin this fall, and we've done a lot of planning already to identify the type of construction and lead time for materials, which is a driving force in today's industry.
Frank, can you hold on just 1 second?
Yes.
It's not pulling up for some reason. Bryce, can you stop sharing?
I can see it.
That's easier. Kristen, are you able to pull up the slides again? Bryce, are you able to stop sharing?
Sure.
Sorry, Frank, we want to make sure we have your slide up for you.
That's fine, thanks. All right, so there's the project timeline. I will mention that safety of the students and faculty is the #1 priority for us. Safety of our workforce is also critical. Safety is our #1 priority. So all the things that we plan and do when we're before we start construction will be done so in preparation for safe operations. As I mentioned, the construction will begin in the fall of 2021, and the academic wing and the gymnasium addition will be worked on concurrently. They will not finish at the same time, as you'll see, but we will start in the fall and complete the academic wing for the start of school in August of 2022. The arts and the cafeteria additions, the beginning of construction in November of 2021, estimated completion in December of 2021. That includes the gymnasium as well. So there are some longer lead items for the structure of the gymnasium, and we've taken that into consideration in this planning. Once the summer hits, the students are out of school, there'll be some renovation of some of the existing classrooms that will also be planned and completed before the start of the 2022 school year. There will be, as you heard from Bryce, some additional renovation where the existing gymnasium is. So that will take place after the new gymnasium is turned over to make sure that the students have a place for their gym classes. So the next is what to expect during construction. Obviously, as I said, the health and safety is a top priority. It's our #1 priority. We will have presence on the job site all day with our superintendent and project manager. They will be meeting every day or every week with Kristen and making sure that she's aware of what our activities are. So custodians will be integral as well, making sure they know where we're working and what we're doing. So the updates will be given regularly to the staff and the families. We'll be doing a monthly status report on the progress. And our sites are maintained with site fencing and proper signage so that everybody knows where the limits of the construction are, and there will be, obviously we'll need to stay out of those areas. Monitoring the progress is a daily activity. We have a project schedule that we maintain, and we update that monthly. So all of those things come together for a safe and productive project, and we're pleased to be part of it. It's going to be really exciting.
Thank you, Frank. Okay, so we are at the point of our presentation where we are ready to get into some questions. And like Kristen shared at the very beginning, we did have some parents that were able to submit questions in advance. And so we're going to start by going through the answers to those questions. And then certainly if anyone that's tuning in has additional questions you'd like us to address, please feel free to go ahead and put those in the chat. So the very first question that came through was related to playgrounds. We know that playgrounds are very, very important at the elementary level. And so the question was, in general, how will playgrounds be impacted during and after construction? So I'm going to pass this one off to Bryce or Claire from DLR. Do you guys want to address playgrounds for us?
Yeah, we can do that. So as you saw on the floor plan, the top of the page, the gymnasium will be built on what is currently a playground. And then to the left of the page, the classroom addition is also built in some play space. So our intention is that those pieces of the site will be adjusted, will be moved and relocated. We're working through with our landscape architects to best position how those playgrounds will be adjusted so that you know, when the project is complete, there will still be play structures for the students to interact with.
And Bryce, just to clarify, while construction is happening and you know, school is still in session, then you know, there will be playgrounds in place for kids to play on while that's happening.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so our next question is, why do we need 2 art rooms and 2 music rooms? And will we have 2 teachers for both area? Kristen, do you want to take that one?
Sure. Our current related art schedule. So our related art schedule, when I say that, I mean art, music, PE, and library rotation our current schedule allows for 24 sections or 24 classes. So as our enrollment grows, we will add classes. Remember, our new floor plan calls for 5 sections of every grade eventually. So that could be up to 30 sections. So in order for our students to have related arts classes, we're going to need to double up in some cases. So we will eventually use 2 art rooms or 2 music rooms simultaneously in order for our students to have those related arts experiences. I don't think that we will utilize those spaces all the time right away. I think it'll be a phase in as we add in more classes per grade level based on enrollment. So we'll be able to use those extra art and music rooms. We'll be able to use those spaces really flexibly within the next couple years until there's a need to use those spaces as they're intended. As far as having 2 teachers for both specials, I don't think we're to that point yet. I think it becomes a staffing discussion that we'll eventually have to have. Certainly on the radar, something we're thinking about, but I don't think we're to that point yet.
Thank you, Kristen. Okay, Frank, these next 2 are coming your way. The next question is, how will noise and dust be contained during construction so that learning is not impacted negatively?
Well, first of all, I'm glad that this individual recognized that there will be noise and dust. It's inevitable, but how we manage it is really important. With respect to noise, there will be noise. It's unavoidable. On a project like this, we're excited to be able to participate potentially in helping educate the students who maybe are impacted by noise on a small degree to understand what those noises are. So that's one thought. But if there's windows, if there's doors that we're blocking off, for instance, on the left-hand side of that plan, we're eliminating the exit doors where we're building the academic addition. Those doors will be blocked off with insulation and plywood to kind of help buffer and to keep the noise from transferring through something simple like a doorway. That also helps with safety as well. Things like testing fire alarms and things that are known noises that are annoying and prevalent, we'll be coordinating that with Kristen so that we're sure not to do that during testing hours, or if it's too disruptive, we'll do it on off hours. So we'll be coordinating with her every week on what our activities are and what the noisy operations may be. The dust, the one thing to take into consideration is that dust will get into the filters for your air conditioning and heating system. So we'll be monitoring that and replacing the filters and pre-filters on a regular basis to ensure it doesn't get into the building. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, I think that was great. Thanks, Frank. So the next one for you is, and I know you talked about this, about the importance of safety for both students and your workers. So this question is, how will you ensure kids are safe during the building process? And then how many access points will there be in the building once construction is complete?
Well, I think Bryce maybe can answer the second question, but I'll take on the first question with respect to safety. We'll separate ourselves from the students with temporary fencing. Our construction entrances will be well marked, and there'll be signage on there directing individuals to stay out, that it's a construction hard hat area. We will have our traffic will have to access both sides of the building because of the addition on the left-hand side and the right-hand side of the building. But we'll make sure that our construction entrances are also well marked and separate ourselves to the best of our ability from any of the other traffic, whether it's the bus drop-off or the parent drop-off. So, we do this regularly. Our project that we're doing right now in Worthington has all of these challenges and all of these considerations that we take into consideration in our pre-planning. So we'll have a plan, and we'll put that into practice to ensure a safe project for all.
On the door count piece, there will be 9 total doors when the project is complete. Currently, there are 8.
Thank you, Bryce. And then I know Ashley added into the chat that she used to be a kindergarten teacher in a school that had a construction project, and just referenced the amazing learning opportunity it is for kids and how they love to watch those machines work. And so I know we've talked before about, looking for opportunities, for kids to be involved, for them to be able to observe, and certainly to create great learning experiences for them.
And the Russilli employees, they love to brag about what they do. So they'd love to share our construction techniques and challenges and get those kids excited about it.
Excellent. Okay, 2 more questions that were submitted ahead of time. How will construction impact current instructional spaces? Bryce, do you want to take that one?
Yes. So the current spaces there will always be adequate numbers of classrooms through the different stages of the construction process. But looking at the school when it is complete, there will be changes to a handful of current classrooms that will switch their use, or they will be, divided, like the kindergarten classrooms I showed. Those will be subdivided so that other program space can be put inside them. But yeah, at the end of the project, during the sequence of the project, there will be full utilization of the building, so that all the classes, the different types of classes, the special arts, all of those things are always available.
Thank you. Okay, and then the last question, I'm going to come back to you, Bryce. Will the curbs, streets, and parking lots be repaved as a part of this construction process? And Scott Lofton, I'm not sure if you have anything to add to that as well.
Yeah, the current, sorry. I've got an echo.
There we go. Sorry. The current site plan will be adjusting the parking lot that's to the right of the page or to the north of the school, kind of where the parent drop-off happens right now, and staff parking. We won't be expanding it, so to speak. The boundaries of that parking lot will remain, but we will be reorienting the parking in order to add some more parking spots in there to meet kind of the zoning code minimums. But as far as the main driveway, the circle driveway in front of the building, that will not be adjusted at all.
If it would need repaved after construction, we would repave it at that time.
Thank you both. Okay, and actually one more, and then I will encourage any others to submit questions in the chat if you have them. But how will we address the supply chain issues that are being talked about in the media and are prevalent across the industry? I know Mr. Barrett has talked a lot about this, so I'm going to pass it to you first, Mr. Barrett, and then if any of our other team members want to add to it, that'll be great too.
Thank you, Jill. Could we go back to the slide on the schedule? So we working with Russilli Construction and DLR and Shore Architects, our goal was to finish this project by the fall of 22. And what has happened is there are supply chain issues with steel, structural steel for roofs, all kinds of back orders. I think it's 8 to 10 months out. And so at the end of the day, I'm just so proud of Russilli and DLR for, solving the problem for us to getting these academic spaces as soon as we can possibly get them, and then phasing in the related arts and cafeteria additions, and then later the classroom renovations for existing classrooms. They're taking a little bit different approach. And Frank, I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit, but it's causing a ripple effect throughout the construction industry. And we're going to be able to get these spaces as soon as possible because they've been innovative and kind of worked together to solve a few problems where we won't need structural steel for the academic spaces.
Yeah, I can dive into some more detail there. The academic spaces will be a precast roof structure as opposed to joists. Joists are the lead time that Steve mentioned are 8 to 10 months. And we really can't get away from using joists in the new gymnasium. It's really the best design for that space. So we stuck with that. We went with an alternate construction for the academic area, stuck with the joists in the new gym. But as you can see, that's going to push that gym out a little further for the completion date. But we felt like that was the best option for the project.
Thank you, Frank. And so it'll get us the classroom space we need because we're growing and we're looking at Blacklick's numbers every single day. And so it'll be right on the timeline we wanted. And then the rest of the project will be delivered throughout the rest of the fall of 22.
Thank you, Mr. Barrett and Frank. Okay, so that is the last of our submitted questions, and I don't see any additional questions in the chat, but certainly we'll keep an eye on it. We do have, just in closing, we know that there's a lot going on in the district and, a lot of change, and so we are going to be providing updates regularly through email and social media, but we also have a page on our website dedicated to our master facilities plan and these phase 2 projects. And so anyone that's interested can go to our website, click on district info, and then master facilities plan and building projects. And that's where you'll be able to get all the information you're interested in viewing on phase 2, as well as the link to this recorded presentation and the one we'll do in a little bit with High Point. So I think if we don't have any other questions, that concludes our presentation for this evening. And certainly, we'll be sharing more information in the future as this exciting project gets underway. Any other closing words from anyone?
I would just like to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Please, if you have friends or neighbors that maybe are out of town or couldn't make this presentation, please encourage them to go to the website to watch it. We're willing to field any questions that folks may have, and we will continue to update as we get closer to the start of the school year. In our Friday updates, we'll continue to kind of update on this project as well and have links so that you can see the progress. So thanks so much for joining us.